I just want to take a quick shot of this. This is something we found on the side of the road this morning. My wife's been wanting one of these for up near the greenhouse because it's small, it's light to push underneath the bushes and pull back out. She doesn't really like either one, the Honda or the Husqvarna that I have. They're self-propelled, and when you go to drag them back, sometimes they drag back hard. She's been wanting one of these. We've been looking for like 2 years. We had one that we always kept in the yard because we have a lot of bushes you got to go underneath, and it's a lot easier to take something light like this and do it. So we were going up the road this morning, and this was out there and it said free and runs. I believe the people are selling their home, so we grabbed it. I just thought I'd take a shot. We're going to bring it in the shop and go through it. I'm going to start it before I bring it in, but I believe it, I don't see why it wouldn't run, but I still think I'm going to bring it in, you know, pull the top off, put a tune up in it, change the oil, probably sharpen the blade if not change it. But the wheels are kind of loose. I think whoever assembled it didn't do it real good. This is a Bowen's brand. It's the same thing you see in big box stores, True Value Hardware. That used to be the $99 mower you could buy. Now it's a $279 mower everywhere you go. Like I said, we've been looking for one. I thought it was kind of cool. It'd be a good little short video, but bring it in, go through it. I want to clean it up. I want to wax it and treat the bottom so that it doesn't rot out. That's what happened with my last one. But they have a lot of things you can treat the bottom of the decks with now, where grass and stuff doesn't stick and rot them out. I really don't think this is that old. I'm going to try to see. All the stickers are still on everything, the motor, the SKU number. I'm going to see if there's a born on date on it somewhere. I bet it's not that old. So I just thought I'd take a shot. We're going to power wash it right now before we bring it in. Little things I'm going to show you I do. These foam filters that are in for the carburetor, that was pretty nasty. A lot of grass. I found a lot of grass in the fuel tank. Had to vacuum that out once I dried it out. But these filters here, a lot of people buy it new. You bring that in the house, put a little bit of Dawn soap and squeeze it a couple times. And I did that yesterday. And you bring it back out, set it on a paper towel, pull the moisture right back out. So that's, you don't buy one of those. The only thing I'm going to buy new for this is I bought a plug. I took the plug out. I'm going to bring it to Napa today, get a new plug for it, and I'm going to take the blade off right now. Looks like it sees some action. So I was hoping just to resharpen it, but like I said, I'm going to go through it. There's little things on these cheap mowers I'll show you. I don't know how well that's in the camera, but these cheap mowers, and even some of the expensive ones, they put these wheels on with a nut bolt, and they use like a cupped washer, and the plastic wears after a while and they'll get loose. And if you let that go, they'll egg out that hole. So what I'm going to do, I used to do a lot of small engine stuff for people years ago, even customers of mine through my landscape business. But I'd be there doing something else and they'd say something about, I'd say, yeah, I'll fix that, fix your generator, whatever. Pretty much since I was 14, 15, even at 12 or 13 years old, I could go out and get my own snowmobile going. My dad would show me how to rebuild the carburetor and all that. Pretty young age. I got five brothers, and probably only my oldest brother was the only one that had good mechanical knowledge. So I've always done stuff like this. You'll see even on it's a YouTube about a landscape company. I've been a pretty good mechanic most of my life. I actually worked for a dealership for a couple years, hated it. It's just too many hours for what I wanted to do. My kids were young. But you'll see me do a lot of mechanical stuff on my own, and I have a little bit of knowledge like these here. I've done this before. Even the Honda mowers I got, that tends to be what goes on those, is the wheels. One does finally get cracked up, the casing. I normally keep what's good on it. These bolts on the Hondas will break a lot of times, especially when I was doing commercial mowing and you were banging them up over curbs and stuff. But like this little lawnmower here, just little things you can do that are going to make it, you know. I want to do this once, and this will probably be good for 3 or 4 years up there for my wife. But I want to take the blade off. Let's see what size that is. I'll show you the blade when I get it off. It's pretty. Another thing about this video too is I got probably 25 projects, little projects like this I got to do before snow flies. I want to get behind me. You'll see the garage looks like a bomb went off right now, but I got all kinds of little projects I want to do, hopefully before the snow flies. These are really put together as a throwaway lawnmower. There's no drain plug on the bottom of this motor or anything. They planned on you running this. When it blew up, you were just going to replace it. The better quality motors, even with Briggs & Stratton, most of them have a plug on the bottom you can pull. That's one of the things I noticed. But we live in a country now where they just plan on you throwing. Like, there's times, like I had a couple guys looking. I know for a few years you could go to your local transfer station. The minute one of these doesn't stop, most Americans just throw them away. Same with gas grills. The minute there's a little thing wrong with them. Back when you were buying this for $99, it did make sense to me, but I can understand it more. Now this is almost $300 to buy it. You can still buy this exact mower. But I'll show you this blade. This is supposed to have a little ear to it to pick up, like it pulls up on the grass, makes a vacuum. But this blade's pretty beat if you look at it. This is supposed to be a straight edge. There ain't enough blade there to sharpen, so I'm gonna pick one up today somewhere. Probably Napa. I did find a couple times I've gone to Napa for even the Honda ones, the blades are pretty reasonable. You can always mail order stuff like that cheaper. But I'll pop one of the wheels off and tell you what we're gonna be doing there. I believe that it's pretty rusty under there, but it looks like 16s. So I'll show you this. It's got like a sleeve bolt in it that goes through the front of the wheel. And on the back they use a washer that's like it's got a little bit of a crown to it. And their thought is as long as the mower's gonna last, they don't care how tight that is. What I normally do, because I should have them in the other room. Go look real quick, I'm pretty sure I got Teflon washers. What I do is on the outside of that bolt where it tightens the wheel, you just take a Teflon washer and put it like that. And more than likely that's going to tighten that wheel right up. We'll find out in a second, I guess. I'm still going to put that coned washer in there. It might be too much. We'll find out when we tighten it. It is a Teflon nut. It's kind of beat up, so I'm going to see how well it works. Yeah, that's a little too tight. So that pretty much gets that running true. So we'll do that for all four. The only thing I might do is put a new, there's a cup. That one didn't look bad. This one here looks like the Teflon nut. It's like a one-time use. When they threaded it in, you can see the Teflon part kind of came out of it. So we'll see how well that will work. But I was going to do this in the other garage, but I got a bunch of stuff on the bench. It'll be kind of tight the first time you use it, but they'll break in and that'll stay tight for a couple of years, I'm quite sure. What I'm doing is the first one I didn't do, but these here I'm just going to drop a little bit of oil so that if that washer wants to spin. A lot of people would think this was a waste of time, but little things. Another thing you'll notice on these cheap mowers, if you want to adjust the thing up and down, you'll see there's 3 settings you can do. They always put it in the middle, but if you want this to mow a little bit lower to the ground, you can always adjust it up to that other hole. I'm also going to put a good, about anything to do with small engines, even if it's not a Honda. Honda oil, I don't know what they do to it, but it's better. I'm either going to use a Honda oil in this, or AM's oil makes a oil for small engines too. I think most of these mowers get thrown together by somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing too. You'll find anything you buy from a big box store, you're gonna want to check. I know people that have bought snowblowers the last few years and tell me that the thing is basically falling apart as they're using it. I'm still putting that cone washer on, like I said. Just picking at this a little bit this morning. It's probably the first real cool day we've had in New Hampshire, so first time I've turned the heat on in the garage. I just turned it on for like 20 minutes so I can do a couple things in here while it warms up. But like I said, there's no reason to buy new filters most of the time. You might have to after you wash it a couple times, but we've had a year this year where even my Kubota equipment, I've blown the filters out probably 6 or 8 times, which I normally, you do that once or twice buy a new filter. This year you couldn't. I mean, there was days I'd work that my loader, these new motors with the emissions and stuff on them, I still think everything's, they're pulling a lot more crap in. I never used to have issues with things getting plugged up like they do now. Like my MX6000, the air conditioning condenser will fill up in a day enough to where your air conditioning don't work right. You got to bring it down, either blow it out with a hose. That's going to be one of the other projects. This little trailer here. One of my buddies bought that because there was a nice generator on it. And he wanted the generator to put back in the back of his cube van. I see that sitting there. He said, "Oh, you want that?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm going to set it up to where there's a gas-powered. I got a real good deal this year from a guy on a gas-powered air compressor. It's got a nice Honda motor on it. When I say good deal, I mean good deal. I rattled off a price. He had it out on the lawn for sale. Worked for a company where he didn't have nothing in it, so I ended up bringing it home. It runs good, so I'm going to mount that on this trailer with a little bit of a toolbox, so that when like my screener, a couple times, there's weeks if I'm using my screener a lot, that motor, same thing, the dust that gets on it. I wanted something portable, better than electric. You know, when you plug into your cigarette lighter or something. Now I can go up and blow those motors out. Same thing, I don't always have to drive a tractor down here. So, other than that, this thing looks pretty good. I was actually going to pull the cover off, but I did get it running, and it ran pretty good considering the gas that was in this was black. I mean, there was so much water in it. It ran good until it took a gulp of that water. So I vacuumed the tank out. There was a lot of grass clippings too, where someone must have been mowing when it ran out. Just they didn't pay too much attention. There was a lot of grass inside that tank. But I got it cleaned out, and I think it's going to be pretty good once we change the oil, put gas in. I'll bring it out and start it. But right now I'm going to run the Napa, get the plug, probably get a blade for it, and we'll get back to it. I did find a date on it. I was thinking it was 19. It ends up being a 2012. When I went to get the blade to it, kind of confirmed that, because that blade that was on this, they stopped making that style blade. It took me 3.5 days to get a blade for it. Could have mail ordered one, saved a little bit of money. I went to Napa. But that blade that's on this is 2016 and down. And then I got back and I looked up the code. There's a number on the bottom. It's 4 of 2012, so this is older than I thought it was. I just don't think it got used much. The property I got this that was sitting in front of is a camp on a small pond up here. I think you'll find it just got used when they come up, and I don't think it was a lot. I believe it was the original blade that was on it. That's why it was so beat to heck. I did find out when I put a plug in it, it had the wrong plug in it. But I did get the blade in today. I changed the oil, and I used a Honda. I swear by this stuff. I've got the Honda motor that's on my screening plant is probably gone 4 or 5 times what Honda guarantees that thing for hour-wise, and it just keeps on kicking. So I changed that twice a summer. This year I didn't use it as much as the previous years. I did use it a lot. That will run all day long on like a gallon of gas, gallon and a half of gas. So when it does get run, I normally run that on rainy days. So I'm just saying, I've had proof that this oil is, my Honda mowers, same thing. That's what got me. You dump it out and it's clean still. It's just, it doesn't break down like other oils, but that's a good product. The other product I didn't use on this, but I always want to mention is this is something Napa sells. I don't know where else you can get it. You can have gas that's got a lot of water in it. And I had a spell here where getting the ethanol-free gas wasn't easy. And I put everything away with the True Fuel in it. You can't, I run my stuff too much to use True Fuel. A homeowner, I think, is crazy not just to use True Fuel. If you use your chainsaw once a year, go through a gallon of gas mowing your grass or whatever. The True Fuel, I think, is probably the better that I found. AMSOIL, I think, makes a product now that's supposed to be a pretty good product. The thing I like about True Fuel is I think it's like 94 octane. It's like race fuel, basically. Just, you put it in stuff and it runs good. The chainsaws run super on it. But like right now, you'll see in this video, I'm going to put True Fuel in this because this is probably going to mow today for 20 minutes and then get put away up in the greenhouse for the winter. Where it's going to sit all winter, I'd rather have the ethanol free in it. But I just thought I'd mention that product. Products that work good, I'm going to mention in my videos. And I've had super luck with it. Best I've ever had in 25 years of business that works. I don't like throwing fuel away. It's like, if I get my zero turns hold 3 or 4 gallons over the years. And when one of them gets water, and I normally siphon it out, put it in a clear jug and separate the water out of it. Up the road, there's 5 miles up the road from me, there's a gas station that sells ethanol free, but during COVID, as much as I hate mentioning that word, but that got up to $7.32 a gallon. So I wasn't buying it. I don't buy it anymore. What I try to do now is I buy regular gas and treat it, just so people know in the videos. Yeah, it's cheaper to buy the regular fuel, treat it with a good product. But I just wanted to show that, and then we'll put the new blade on. This is, I get my blade, I don't replace my blades a lot on anything. My Honda mowers, the blades last. I probably only change those 4 or 5 times the whole time I own one of them. But this is called the Copperhead from Napa. That's the brand they sell. This is the last thing we got to do. I did wax this real good. The underneath of it's kind of beat up. I'm just going to spray it. I got a silicone product that I use on my snow blowers. I'm going to try that on the bottom of this. Alright, well, it's pretty early this morning. I'm not going to go mow my lawn yet because of my neighbors, but when it warms up and I can get outside, I'll mow with that, and that'll be the end of the video, but I want to see how it works, and I'll show everybody how it works. I don't know if the camera shows that. I just want to show people I hand wax that just so stuff won't stick to it as bad. I wax the cover. A lot of people probably think it's a crazy waste of time on this, but I'm hoping my wife can get 4 or 5 years out of this up on the hill. And I also understand where she's coming from when she says it's easier to push this up underneath the bushes and all that. So, plus it's a very small area behind our greenhouse. It's just miserable to do with a big mower. This will be the initial start after I got it all cleaned up, tuned up, and stuff cleaned out of it. So hopefully I don't make a fool of myself, but I'm normally pretty good at what I do as far as tuning stuff up. These cheap mowers, all that's got is a primer bulb. And that's a wrap. So there it is. I've got with the oil change, new blade, I probably got about 40 bucks out of pocket in that, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good mower. So we're done with this video. I just thought I'd tape that. It's kind of a cool project. That's something that my wife will use probably for 4 or 5 years at least. I'm going to try to tape everything I do business wise and stuff I do in the garage. Once in a while I'll do something like this for a customer too. I'll be there doing something, you know, construction end of the business, and they'll show me something that ain't running. So it's not unusual to see something like this in my garage. Right now I've probably got I started out, I probably had like 20 projects like this I wanted to do. I'm down to like 15. This is the time of year where you're going to see me like winterize some stuff. I'm going to tape that, show you what I do to the motors. My screening plan I'm going to be using quite a bit the next probably 3 or 4 weeks until things freeze up. Then I'll winterize that and cover it for the winter. But I'll show you some of the things I do to the motors I have and what I use for products. But again, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'm hoping people want to see this type of video. I'm a landscape company, but like I said, I'll do other stuff. I even have videos where I've restored an old Ford pickup, so it's who I am. So I'm never going to be fake about it. Never going to lie to people. If a product's good, I'm going to say it's good. If it's bad, it's going to be bad. So this is just part of the video stuff I'm going to do. And again, thanks for watching.